Yo, 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 what's up, my dudes? And finally, welcome to the Yugoslavian no, not infantry, unit preview. Now, first of all, again, disclaimer. These stats are not necessarily final, or names, or pictures, or anything. So take everything with a grain of salt, especially this time, considering or looking at the stream, there's still quite some stuff that is work in progress or wrong stats, wrong names, anything like that. So there still seems to be quite some stuff that needs to be changed, but it it should give us a good idea again. Also, the release, in case you didn't know already, is Thursday, the 1st December of the DLC, which is in 6 days already for you. For me, it's 7 because I'm recording this right after the stream. Um, and yeah, I think that's all that needs to be said. So let's get right into it. This time also with all the redundant units because I don't want to upset Rocky by excluding any units here. Though a few units, I think it's like 2 IFVs and 1 plane did not get shown. Especially the IFVs should be very interesting because I think they have better autocannons and better Malyutkas or better ADGMs on them. But other than that, yeah. So what do you have here? That's an MI2 command. Um, that's an MI4 with a pretty cool skin though. I think the Polish have, yeah, they have an MI2. Nothing special. Then we have the command infantry with a shock version of an MG. CQC. I mean, not that it's a big deal. Command Jeep notes the 120 kilometers per hour off-road speed at only 100 point cost because normally the Jeeps with a pretty high off-road speed cost 110 points. OP nerf. No, it should probably be 110, or all the others should be 100. Or maybe the speed gets reduced. I don't know. Then we have which is basically the BRDM2 CV that the Soviets have. I just want to take out all the ships, whatever. Then we have T-55 CV, M84 CV. M84, remember, or if you don't know already, their own tank that is based on the T-72 but has their own improvements. Nothing too special. The Fab, so funny. Logistic truck 15 points. Note that it has 90 kilometers per hour speed, which is very unusual because all 15 points usually have 60 kilometers per hour. So unless they all get a global buff, I think that's an oversight that needs to be changed. Then we have the FAP, the 40.1, which is basically a HEMT or the 40-point logistic truck used by some non-Soviet Warsaw Pact countries. Again, wrong speed, I think, and only 5 health. Should probably get fixed, or will probably get fixed. And we have an Mi-8 supply helicopter. Then we have the first very, very interesting unit, which is a light infantry, 15 men, but regular. This is a very, very interesting unit. I have no idea whether it's incredibly strong or maybe not even that strong. So let's compare it to something like Norlandsjäger, which are also 15 men. They're of course shock, but they cost twice as much. Of course, they have a better anti-tank weapon, but I don't know. Maybe they should cost 20 points, or probably, because I think they might be very strong. Also note that they have the M53, which is a MG42. I think slightly modified, but basically an MG42. So Red 4 can into very good MGs, finally. And we have their normal line infantry with an M56 submachine gun, sadly. Submachine guns are not that great on anything that isn't a special force, really. But MG42 and basically a worse RPG-7. Let's compare it with the base RPG-7, just stat-wise. I mean, of course, yeah, less range, but a bit more accuracy. I'd prefer range. Then we have Mornarica Pesh. I don't know what that stands for. Maybe a short version for infantry, which is Marines, airborne, and motorized. I'm not sure whether that stays. They have no 90s version of this, but this is basically a, where is it? A Rima copy. Not Rima, but Legion copy here. Assault rifle. It should not be called LRAC F1. It will probably get changed to M79 OSA, which is it is basic, or not basically, but very 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 similar to the French LRAC. So I guess they just copied it and forgot to change the name or something. Next up is their elite infantry, Padobranchi, with the STG-44, I think. Also again MG-42 and the LRAC. Should be pretty decent, yeah. Nothing too special, but also yeah, it's a pretty good. Then we have their 90s version, which has their own SMG or carbine, although it uses a picture of the AKS 74U, I think it's the name. They have the Boombar, which is an Eric's with one more AP, not bad at all. And M84, which is basically a PKM, so basically the MG stats of this M60. Then we have the Druk, which is their indigenous ADGM infantry. It's compared to, there's nothing quite perfectly like this. It's compared to Chumat and maybe Factoria or Conquerors. So it compared to the Conquerors, it trades range for 5% more accuracy, and compared to the Chumat, it trades, well, it loses accuracy and AP. So it's basically worse than both, but it's also quite a bit better than the Factoria. I would say it should cost 20 points, but someone else said they are fine at 15. I don't know. Maybe they should. Maybe they shouldn't cost 20 points. Proletari, which is their shock infantry, very very similar to Mortars. Also available to mechanize and motorize, not armored, though I hope and think that will get fixed. Basically same MG, stat-wise. Primary weapon also same. But they have the M72 Law instead of the RPG-7. I'm pretty sure they did not operate the M72 Law. I think they operated I think the name is M80. It looks like the Law, but I think it should also get better stats than the M72 Law. I think it had more AP, so I'm not sure whether that is final. Then we have their 90s version, which has basically the same weaponry. The MG has more higher rate of fire, though I'm not sure whether that is just the ammo consumption. Like let's say the Lushan Dui also show they have a different rate of fire than Mordschützen, but in reality it's just a different ammunition consumption. So I'm not 100% certain here. But I have the M90 Strichilien. I'm sorry, I have no idea how to pronounce it properly. Which is basically Apilas on steroids. One more AP. It's pretty strong, definitely. And we have their TO. I'm not sure what that stands for, which is basically their militia. And then the Silo with the IGLA 1, like the East German ones. Though I think they should have, well, I read that they should have the IGLA and not the IGLA 1. The IGLA being, I think it has more accuracy. Yes, quite a bit more accuracy even. And then we have the Strela 2M/A, which is, I think, a Strela 2 with their own indigenous upgrade, which is, I think it's something between the Strela 3 and the Strela 2. I'm not sure whether it's stat-wise correct, but at least it has 4 AG, which is decent enough for helicopters, but nah, that's shit. Then we have their BTR 70. I think it has more speed. BTR 70, where is it? Yes, it has more speed indeed. Otherwise, it's the same. Oh no, it's basically a BTR 60. Well, stat-wise, but by the looks of it, it looks more like a BTR 70, but with more speed, but only one front armor. Then the 5-point drag pin scorer, like the British or the UK transport, their 5-point drag transport, which is pretty good, I would say. It only has, well, quote unquote, only has one armor. It has quite a low speed, but it has 2 MGs, one of them being a heavy MG, so it's actually not too bad. Then we have their 10-point version of it, which has two. You can't see it properly here, but they posted a picture of it, which has two recoilless rifles on it. And that might be really, really strong. It has decent accuracy and even a sort of decent stabilizer. And since it has two, it will shoot both before it has to reload, which can be really, really nice if you have 2 or 3 of them. So they can be amazing fire support, I think. And they still have the 2 MGs. So even in forests, we had infantry there at least. Then we have the Gazella transport, only for CV and recon infantry, which is a Gazelle transport, which with a Browning. They also have I think an Mi-8T transport. I'm not sure about the rocket pods, but I think it's just an Mi-8T. But they did not show it. That was available to the special forces. I'm not sure about the other infantry. Then we have their BVP M80A, their own IFV with a Malyutka and M55. The M55 is pretty good because it has the autocannon, well, stat-wise, autocannon of the Marder 1A3, which is high rate of fire, decent accuracy, not that great range, but you don't see that accurate autocannon on a cheap vehicle, only on the expensive Marder 1A3 or the Lux A1. So it's a pretty good autocannon, and 3 front armor is not too bad either. Only the base Malyutka is shit, of course, but for 15 points, it's actually pretty good. Then support depth, they have the RL4M Brachka, I think. And that is an R-73 missile, so the missile you can find on the planes, which is pretty cool, on a truck. And game stat-wise, it's basically a Crotale with 2 less missiles. I think it's actually pretty good. The only thing is you will probably have to get used to using a supply truck all the time with this unit, but maybe if you get used to that, it can be really strong, because with the supply truck it has more ammunition than a Crotale. Definitely. And we have the Cup M, which is also in game, of course, already. Then we have Never M1, which we also have in game already. Pretty much the same, but it has a completely different model, and the truck is huge. Jesus, you have to see that in the VOD. And then we have this unit, which is basically the same one without a radar. On the forums, there's already a thread about it. I'm not really certain. I'm, of course, about all these units, I'm a bit biased here because I'm a huge Yugoslavia fan, but I don't know. It will be either very strong if they don't change it. It will be either incredibly strong or rather underwhelming. I think. I'm not sure we can completely determine how good it is. There are people saying, "Oh my God, it's so OP." There are people saying it's not even that strong. It's pretty shitty compared to the Eortog, and I think the Eortog is pretty bad. But it costs 120 points. Over the long run, of course, it will probably be very strong. But unlike the Patriot, it doesn't have the same coverage. And let's be real here. Yes, it has helicopter range, but how often are you actually going to use it against helicopters unless you have to? So it has less range, quite a bit less range, a bit less accuracy, and I think it also has less speed, if it has the same speed as a normal Never. So it's not nearly as good against incoming ATGM planes. So you can't really protect your super heavies or tanks from it unless it's in front of your tanks, really, which is a big deal when comparing it to the Patriot. Which the Patriot is not only good because it has a lot of range and accuracy and speed. Its main well, I mean, of course, it's good because of that, but it's not just that you can cover a big area, but it's mainly because you can stun incoming ATGM planes before they can fire off the ATGMs or drop their bombs, but mainly fire off the ATGMs. So you can really protect your tanks very, very well from MiG-27s and Su-27Ms. The Never can't, I'm pretty sure. I mean, yes, they buffed the missile speed of heavy SAMs like the Never book and so on, but they are still not on the same level as the Patriot. And like I said, I don't think it can stop ATGM planes from firing off the missiles on your tanks. But then again, I'm not saying it's trash. I just think we can't really say yet how good it will actually be, because 100 points is an immense investment, and like I said, it's not nearly as good as the Patriot. However, if you buy it early and you don't get fucked in the early game because you paid 120 points for a not nearly, like I said, not nearly as good unit as the Patriot. Over the long run, it will certainly pay off. But like I said, um, I don't think it is as OP as people make it out to be. And then there's also the discussion about being overmodeled, having so much range without radar. But I don't want to get into that. So yeah. Then we have this little thingy, which you already know. It costs only 25 points. So maybe they all get a global buff, or this was an oversight. I wouldn't mind it being a global buff. Or oh, it has less accuracy. I'm stupid. Okay. Well, yeah, whatever. Then we have the Stratanum, which we all know. And then we have this unit, which is, in my opinion, the biggest or the best unit in the support tab. It has more range, both against helicopters and planes, which is quite good. It has 10% more accuracy, and 6 HE. That thing is a fucking beast, I tell you. It is very self-sufficient. Like all thrillers, it has volleys of 4 or a magazine of 4, let's call it that way. It has a good enough range to protect your units from helicopters. I mean, not as good as a Gortal, of course, but decent enough. It has good enough accuracy and 6 HE, which is really, really nice against helicopters. So I think really that that unit is really, really strong, and it should probably get a slight price nerf. 1 second. Then we have a 30-point mortar. This is basically, excuse me, a mortar based on the M60, their IFV, not their IFV, their APC, their 5-point transport. Then we have the SO-105 Priest, which is the M7 Priest, I think it's called, from the Second World War. Sure, if it has a short aim time, like a mortar. Excuse me, sorry for that. It might not even be that bad. But considering that it has the little artillery icon on there, it's probably as bad as, or it will probably have quite a long aiming time and be therefore pretty terrible. Then we have the Gvostika, which we also already have in game. Nothing really good or special. Then we have the Nora B, which is basically a counterpart to the Cesar, I guess. With these high-end tube artilleries, it all comes down to their fire pattern. Like, just looking at the stats of the unit, you can't. Oh, well, isn't there? Yeah, here. That's a better comparison. Like, just looking at this, you might say, well, they're pretty even, basically. The bit of range difference, whatever, but looking at the important stats, dispersion, HE, suppression, and rate of fire, they're pretty much the same. But in reality, they're completely different. The AS-90 is so much better because the AS-90 fires 3 shots per every time you tell it to shoot somewhere, it fires 3 shots and then stops. So, but these 3 shots are shot with a very short time between them. So it shoots, reloads 2 or 3 seconds or 1 or 2 seconds, and then shoots the next round. However, the Paladin shoots and then has to reload 5 or 6 or 7 seconds until the second shot comes out. So that is really where it comes down, whether these units are usable or not. And it doesn't show on the unit card really. So we can't say anything about that in my opinion, whether it's good or not. But it will most likely have 10 seconds aim time. Then we have the SPAT BOV3, non-radar indigenous spec. The best thing that is comparable to that is maybe the Praga. Where is it? I have no idea how good it will be because the true rate of fire is a bit wonky, but it has for non-radar decent accuracy. Oh yeah, that's the VAB. I just realized the VAB. It has decent accuracy, but the VAB is not that great, and I don't know. But there's an upgraded version which has more accuracy and a higher rate of fire and higher suppression, so that might be nice. Then there's basically a tracked and radar version of it. Lots more accuracy, stabilizer, more interplane range. The helicopter range is not really that great for 45 points in radar. Let's take a look at the Gepard, for example. It has a bit less accuracy, no stabilizer, and bit lower rate of fire, but the range is so much better. So unless it gets a range buff, I don't think it's really that good. And we have their napalm, artillery, whatever. Every napalm artillery that isn't the Buratino is shit. Then we have the Orkan, which is basically a slightly weaker Smirch, but it seems to have a higher rate of fire, which might result in either the rate of fire, the actual rate of fire being higher, or the reload time. I would guess the reload time is a bit shorter, but it's definitely usable, unlike the Mars, which is pretty shit. Let's be real. The Mars and its counterparts, so decent, yeah, but not that great. Then we have this thing. Now, what you can see here is it fires its rounds in it fires 16 rockets per salvo. It doesn't fire all 64 at once, or it doesn't fire half of it. It fires 1/4 of it, which is very interesting. Also, it has very low dispersion, as you might see, even lower than Smirch or something. And it indicates that it has a real high rate of fire, and the rate of fire is real high. It shoots these 16 rockets within a few seconds, really. So it also has very fast aim time, I think around 10 seconds, I would imagine. And it can fire smoke rounds. If I understood it correctly, they might change that, but right now it can fire smoke rounds. So that thing might be really nice. And 8 HE for MLRS is around the border where it starts getting useful. The Grad, for example, is pretty bad, in my opinion. But the BM24 of China, for example, is actually usable. And combine that with a high rate of fire, or well, high rate of fire between those 16 missiles, and fast aim time and low dispersion, I think that unit might be really strong without being OP. And it can also double as smoke unit. So I really want to try that out. It sounds like a really cool and unique unit. And we have the M91 Vihor, their own indigenous super, quote unquote, super tank. Now, just looking at this stat-wise, I think it's pretty decent, maybe a bit underpriced. Let's compare to the T72S1. Well, basically a copy with higher accuracy. Note that pretty much all Yugoslav tanks have incredibly high accuracy because of their own indigenous firing control system and electronics and all that. So this is intentional. They really have incredibly high accuracy compared to other Red 4 nations. My only gripe with that is it has only 8 rounds per minute. In reality, the prototype, it never went into service or full production. It had a real advanced autoloader, so I hope and think it will get buffed to 10 rounds per minute, and the price will also get nerfed in return. Here's the model, by the way. Really nice looking, in my opinion. Pretty sexy. Then we have the... Whoa. What happened to this? Alright, sorry. Then we have the M91A Vihor. I think the only real difference here is +2 front armor, +4 front armor, and +2 AP. And one more side armor. I hope you didn't see that. Okay, you didn't. And one more top armor even. And here's the model for that. Come on. This looks pretty sick. This looks incredibly sick. Next up. And yeah, it should and hopefully will also get 10 rounds per minute. Then we have the PT-76, which we already know. The own T-34B, which has an M2 Browning instead of the DSHK. Other than that, it should be, yeah, the same. It has 5% more accuracy and a slightly higher rate of fire. That's it. We have the M47 pattern. I mean, the 70-point tank, whatever, not that special. Their T55A, which seems to be a slightly more accurate T55A and more range on the main gun even. Interesting. Okay. Also more AP. Wow. Quite some small little upgrades here and there over the normal T55A. But like I said, their firing control system, I don't know if 1980, yeah, probably already had that. Really is quite a bit better than what others had to offer during that time. Then we have the T55A1 or AI Igman, I think it's an I. Again, high accuracy, also quite some range, and Malyutka P1, which is a upgraded Malyutka, so it can actually do some damage, but it's still... Oh, it's sack loss, so I don't know about the speed, so maybe the speed is actually pretty good. Because the Malyutkas had two problems. Well, three problems. I fuck up. Speed, accuracy, and AP. It was slow as fuck, inaccurate, and did no damage. Now, this, with sack loss, if it's actually sack loss, then the speed problem gets fixed. Accuracy only 40%, and AP 17, okay, so it can at least one-shot 3 armor targets. But I think in armor decks it might not be too shabby, and it has a decent, and it has the highest range on the gun, which is really nice. Then we have the T55AH Igman. Only difference here is really, well, it loses the ATGM, but it has 2 more AP and quite some more armor. Here's also the model of it, which also looks pretty sick. I don't know what these are supposed to be, but it really looks pretty cool. And we have a T72M, which they based their, I think they based their M84 out of it. Or, well, when they received it, they decided to do their own tank with the M84. So this is from the Soviets. There is typical export T72M, nothing special here. And here their M84, which is very similar to the T80 stat-wise. You basically have 1 less rounds per minute, but get a lot more accuracy. Lose a bit of top and side armor, and a bit slower. Shouldn't really cost 10 points more for that. The M84 also had an advanced autoloader, so I guess that's why they got 8 rounds per minute. But I think the next tank, the M84A, also had an even more advanced, so it might have to get, or should maybe get 9 rounds per minute, but I'm not an expert here. Even then, it's very comparable to the T72B1. It has, again, more accuracy, quite a bit more. 1 more AP and costs 90 points. It's actually very comparable to the John Maho 5. You get a bit less armor, but you have more speed, more autonomy, and again, more accuracy. Pretty good tank. Recon tab. We have some regular recon. Sure. Then we have the recon transport, only for recon infantry, of course. Which is, yeah, typical, nothing too special here. Then we have their Gazelle recon. I mean, there's currently no Gazelle. 50 points, that's quite expensive, considering. Well, I guess it's very fast, so maybe that's the reason for it. Then we have this Gazelle recon, which has 14 FFAR rockets. I think they had one. Like this, just with good optics instead of exceptional. And double the rocket amount of rockets. Very fast and good optics. I think that's pretty good. It's a pretty good helicopter for 1 versus 1s. So I really like that. Then we have a recon jeep, sure. The M8 Greyhound, which we also already have in game. Not to underestimate. It can be really nice fire support in a, especially in a motorized deck where you get that extra accuracy boost due to veterancy. 3, 4, 5 of them can really be incredibly nice fire support to do the high rate of fire into 2 HE. BRDM2, which is your standard BRDM2 for 10 instead of 15 points. Not sure if it was intentional to have 5 points cheaper, so I don't know. Then we have the Praga, which is similar to this one, just with more accuracy. And just like the Israeli thingy, it's in a recon tab. So I'm not a huge fan of these, or of this rather, because I don't think it's really worth it, but if you like it, sure. And we have their M80 reconversion with the Malyutka P1 again, 17 AP and sack loss. It's 12 missiles, not bad. And the Marder 1A3 autocannon basically, but with more range. And oh, it's actually a completely different autocannon. It has more range, but less rate of fire and more AP and a slightly better stabilizer. Looks similar to, I think, CPT-90 gun. Similar, it just has more AP and more range, more accuracy, but I think, yeah. Pretty good autocannon. The problem I have, it's exceptional optics, which means you pay quite a lot of points for that. And the Malyutka P1 is not that great either, so I don't think it's really that good of a vehicle. Because you either want your unit to spot or to fight, but this can't do fighting properly to do both at the same time. Like unlike the Bradley, which until you spot it, you often already have killed your targets. So yeah, not that great in my opinion. If it had a better Malutka, then maybe, but not like this. Excuse me again, sorry for that. Then you have the Senke, which means shadows. So this is basically the Reki counterpart, just even better. It has 2 AP and it has even more range. So that thing might be really nice to play with. Well, really strong, of course, but yeah, I'm quite looking forward to trying these out. Two of those can really be amazing town defense, I think, against hordes of, I don't know, BMP2s and all that maybe. Or maybe they're not even that great for that, but they're definitely going to be fun to play around. Also, note that they only have very good stealth instead of exceptional, so that should hopefully get fixed as well. Maybe they were originally used as, or maybe they originally wanted to have them 10 men, but yeah. Then the T-55A Itzvidyach or something, similar to the Blazer. It has less accuracy, less stabilizer, less AP, and less armor, but is 5 points cheaper. Sure, not too shabby. Then the new Super Recon tank, which is basically the 90 point M84 that we had, as a recon version with very good optics and medium stealth. So that's gonna be really strong. Then we have this fun little unit. In the vehicle tab, now you can tactically outplay your opponents on the ground. Yes, it has rocket pods. I have no idea how this will play out. They didn't use it on stream. I'd be sure, you're gonna be sure as hell that I'm gonna try this unit out. Yeah, like I said, rocket pods, 2HE, FFARs, not that great range as opposed to helicopters, but I guess it makes sense. And the other rocket pods has napalm on top of their HE, so oh, that sounds like a fun unit. Even if it's shit, I'm gonna try it out. Malyutka P, sure. Malyutka P1, more AP, and Saklas. Malyutka 2M, 24 AP and 50% accuracy. We're slowly getting there. It is currently 30 points, but I'm pretty sure that's an oversight. Finally, a useful Malyutka, so I mean, a decent-ish ATGM carrier, but nothing too special. Fagot M cheap and the Druk cheap, I mean, sure. Then you have Braga with heat. I'm not sure whether that was intentional, but if that thing has heat, that might be broken as fuck. Maybe it should have kinetic, or maybe it should have no AP whatsoever. Might be nice for base defense though. Then we have a Hellcat, which we also already have in game for South Korea. I think it also, the Yugoslav version, got a new engine. I'm not 100% certain. If they have, then it's probably an oversight that they have the same autonomy. But the S90 Jackson definitely got a new engine. This is basically the M36. You can also see it has better speed. But same autonomy. I think it should also get increased autonomy, but again, I'm not 100% certain. But you probably know that already. The M36 is an incredible fire support unit, so that's also gonna be incredible. Then we have this Gazelle with Malyutka P1s and Strela 2 M/Ace. Yeah, I guess it's a decent enough low-end chopper that can snipe or hunt low-cost targets, I guess. But not that great. However, this one sounds really... I'm sorry for that, I wanted to not let you hear my sounds that I have to make for whatever reason. Sounds weirder than it actually is. Anyways, the HN4 45M Gamma 2 Gazelle again, which with Malyutka 2Ms, so ATGMs that actually do damage, and Saklas, so again the speed problem of the Malyutka is fixed, and with Igla 1s, I would imagine that if the Igla 1s on the infantry get changed to base Iglas, then these also get the base Iglas with 55% accuracy. Now, it only has 2 missiles and 2 ATGMs, but I think this is actually going to be a quite useful unit. Yes, it doesn't have a lot of missiles, but it's cheap, affordable, And 24 AP Mayukas, nothing to laugh. It's I think I'm actually gonna use this unit, and this can be really, really nice. And then we have this shitty Mi-8 that also the East Germans have. This wannabe gunship. And this thing, this is not a transport helicopter. Now, I have actually no idea whether to think this is good, decent, or just bad, because it's basically, it fills the same role as this, for example. It uses the same rockets, well, stat-wise. I think those are indigenous rockets again, as the Mi-8 MTV. Yeah, same stats basically. It's higher rate of fire, but it only has 16 missiles. So you probably know that the Mi-8 MTV is an incredibly strong fire support helicopter, but only 16 missiles, 45 points. I could also get an Mi-8, Mi-4 for it, and totally that's gonna do more damage most likely. So, but if it's too cheap, then it might make healer rushes even more cancerous. So I guess maybe it's actually better than I think it is. So then we have the J-22 Rao. Um, Similar bomb loadout wise to the Polish Su-7. Same loadout, same speed, same ECM, different gun, but who cares? Um, Very low time over target, but better turn radius. I mean, nothing too special here. Cluster bomber with six AP ones, decent ECM this time, but again, nothing too special. This, however, is pretty fun. Um, AGGM and rocket pod combination. I can't wait to try this unit out. Sounds like a really fun combination to me. AGGMs are nothing too special, but to snipe light targets can be probably really nice. And the S5M guarantees basically to kill or at least stun AA if you snipe AA. So it might be fun to play. It might be cancerous to use to fight against if you on open maps if the enemy snipes your AA all the time with these. But I can't wait to try this out. Then we have this unit with FFAR rockets on planes. I think that it only has 5 is a mistake, but it can be used against ground and air targets. Sounds interesting. Sure, I whatever. Maybe it's actually 5. I don't know. Then we have the J-21 Just Rep. 2 rocket pods, Hydras, sure, and VAR, HVAR with Napalm again and HE. So this might also be a fun unit, but not low speed, no ECM. Yeah. Then we have the MiG-21 with 2 shitty short-range missiles. I think, no, even shittier than that. Maybe the Czechs have a shitty MiG-21. No, but yeah, whatever. Then there was another MiG-21 between this one and this ASF, so I would imagine it's also an ASF. Probably something on the sewer levels, I would imagine. They didn't show it though, so. Then the L-18, which is a MiG-29. Basically the same weapons as this one, though I think it actually got worse missiles if I'm not mistaken. Like it didn't actually use R27R, but I'm not 100% certain. It also has slightly less ECM, but same availability as a MiG-29, so 2 on veteran, 3 on rookie, I believe. But it's decent in low point games or small games like 1 versus 1s. Then we have the L-19, also known as Novi Avion, also known as Baby Rafale. Um, I expected a bit more, and with a bit more, I meant 50% ECM. But how it is now, if it doesn't get changed in any way, it's basically a better F-16 Block 52. You get the same amount of missiles. The short-range ones are basically the same. The long-range ones, you get 5% more accuracy, but you get a slightly worse gun. So other than that, they're more or less identical, besides the time over target and the fuel. Get same veterancy, so 2 unhardened. And yeah, pretty good plane. Then we have L-15M, another MiG-21 with. Sorry again. Every time you hear this noise, I turned my microphone off, so you don't have to hear the weird noises I make. Um, Comparable to this, because this is the only other plane that we have that has both cluster and HE bombs. But I think the L-15M might not even be that bad. I mean, unless you think the Dragonfly is actually good, but it's terrible. The L-15M might not be that bad. It has speed, it has useful ECM, or well, it has ECM. And 215 HE bombs is not too bad. Yes, it's not a great bomber, but it's usable. And 2 cluster bombs, yeah. It's comparable to the J7Z, which has Sidewinders and no ECM. So maybe the L-15M should be a bit more expensive, but if it's 3 per card, it might actually be pretty nice in low point games or smaller games. And if they Super Gallop with 4 napalm bombs, sure. And the N62M Super Gallop, that thing is strong as fuck. Unlike the other N62s, it has or the N62, it has 900 kilometers per hour speed, because I think it got quite an upgrade. And it's comparable to the Keihu, so you get a lot more speed, which is the only quote-unquote problem the Keihu had. And you get a bit more range on the anti-tank missiles, and you get some AA missiles as well, so really, really good anti-tank plane. The only downside is the low time over target time, but that's not too bad considering it has good speed, so that thing is gonna be strong as fuck. That's it for Yugoslav units, but there is one last unit that we'll see, and that is a Czech Seal. So Su-7, so nothing too special plane-wise. It has the same missiles as the Soviet Su-24, or same missile, it only has one. It has the same ECM, lower speed, no stealth, which is a big deal. The intro date is probably wrong with 1962. The price is definitely wrong. It should be 70 points, I would say, maybe even less. Don't they have a 70 point? Yeah, as compared to that. It's 70, 65 maybe, but FLX said it will have 3 availabilities, 3 per card availability, so maybe 3 rookie or regular and 2 on veteran or elite. So the coalition will have a Z plane. Sure. It's, I mean, better than no seat, but definitely nothing. Definitely the worst seat plane in the game. And there's one last Yugoslav unit, another command cheap. And this is this one. I found this on Reddit and it really made my day. Anyways, so that's the preview of the Yugoslav unit. Tell me what you think in the comments. Don't forget, it will be in a coalition with CSSR, which will get a seaplane. I'm incredibly excited. If you forgot it already, the release date is next Thursday, the 1st of December. Yeah, I will see you in the next video, which I don't know what it will be. Oh yeah, and before I forget, don't forget that I will stream some Faustman replays on Saturday. So I hopefully see you there, and until then.